Okay, we are good to go.
Great. We'll officially call the fall meeting of the House of Delegates meeting from the Northeastern District to order. And we'll start by, everybody should be on mute. Glenn will make sure we're all on mute
Okay.
and sing along with the old songs.
Okay. Give me a sec to kind of get this going. And I would actually, I don't know if I set up the audio correctly. Hang on. Let's get that correct. Make sure that that's good. There we go.
Thank you, Glenn.
I like that version.
Yes. And next up is the Canadian National Anthem.
Here we go. I played this one before, but it was a goodie. So if you remember last,
Yep.
if you remember last year. Okay. And we don't have a pitch for this one, so I think it's in B flat, right? I think so. Blow that in your head, and here we go.
Tyler's always been a little bit of a space nut, so Whitehead Jr. is a perfect fit. Definitely.
Oh, say, can you see my dawn's early light? What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, works of gallantry streaming.
Ed, we will unmute you.
And that was the appointment of Dan Falcone as keeper of the pitch, in case we need to have any votes that need our attention during this meeting. So Dan, if you're on the line, I think if you handle that as you usually do, you do such a fine job at that. So that's great. I see we're up to 45 participants in today's HOD meeting. That's great. And next up on the agenda is the introduction of guests and past presidents. So first of all, I would like to introduce everybody and welcome to our HOD meeting this afternoon, our society's president-elect, John Downhauer. And I'm sure John will wave. He'll be talking with us a little bit later. Welcome, John. We're grateful that you're here to talk with us. We're looking forward to what you have to say. And now I've been diligently tracking all the attendees that come in here. And I'm going to see if I can do this. I think I got everybody. But one of the nice things about our HOD meetings, we recognize past presidents who are in attendance. And I think I got them all, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm sure that either Mike or maybe Paul or Alan, who's on the line, will correct me or point out anyone that I missed. So first of all, Art Lively, right? You're past president. Is that correct? Art is on the line.
That's right.
That is correct.
Thank you very much, Art. Paul Arnone,
I am indeed.
past president, and recently put into service as an immediate past president. So he's a man of many talents. Alan Lamson is on the line. I saw him. He's a past president. And I saw Walt Lane.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Walt. Thanks for coming. And I think that's it. Did I miss anybody?
That's all I got.
That's all I got too. Okay. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Next up.
Oh, we're gonna skip that one. I can.
Oh. We're going to jump all the way to the secretary's report. Yeah, let's explain two things. We're on the agenda. We sort of got behind in trying to keep up with the chapter Eternal.
Oh no, I've got those. We're all
Oh, you
set
got
with
that? Okay, I'm sorry.
But instead, I didn't get minutes, but I did get chapter Eternal.
Okay, all righty. Well, let's do chapter Eternal then.
Okay. Let's see. I got it right here. Hang on. Here it is right here. So as is the custom, I'll read each of the names, and we can ask for a moment of silence after, and we can think about our friends that we'll be singing with sometime in the future. Arnold Brown, John Cruikshank, Joseph Forte, David Hollister, Ray Jolie, Roland Leclerc, Fred Miles, James Mitchell, Peter Mooney, Larry Newth, George Pinto. And a moment of silence for these guys and ones that weren't named to have in our memories.
Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah.
Just by way of explanation, the minutes from the last HOD meeting were not submitted into our folders with all the other documents. So we don't have anything to review or approve right now. We're going to hold them off to our next HOD meeting for approval. As I recall, there wasn't anything really earth-shattering in that list. So we'll do that. We'll do that at our next gathering. And so let's move on to Glenn's secretary report.
Yeah. So the secretary report will be fairly brief. without a lot of shows or anything like that going on at this time, there's not, that's a lot of the work for the secretary. It is getting towards the end of the year, so I'll kind of write out to the chapters and make sure that we're getting our end of year filings in, because unfortunately, without giving anything away, the government does go on, and so we're going to need to do our end of year filings. And that's pretty much all I have.
Any questions for Glenn? Brief. That's what we like.
Keep it moving.
That's right. Okay, moving right along. Our treasurer's report, John?
Yes.
Yeah, I can bring these up for you, John, if you want.
Okay, that would be great.
You want to look at the balance sheet first?
No, actually, let's look at the P&L first. All right, as reported in the narrative that I sent with these, this is through September, so it just came out beginning of the week. I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at it or not, but basically because of all of the things we didn't do this year, the P&L looks significantly different than it has in the past. We had no conventions, which are a lot of the activity that goes through the P&L. We had no HC&E or HX camp, so that wasn't there either. So basically we're down to the things that are essentially required to continue operating as a district. The income is primarily dues and some donations, primarily from, actually in this case, the donations are primarily from Harmony Foundation at this point. And we have some that just came in that are not reflected in this. The dues themselves are down a little bit from previous years, but that has been a trend that has been in place for probably the 8 years that I've been treasurer. Tends to go down about 5% a year. We're tracking fairly close to that at this point. So I suspect that if there's any COVID-related reduction in dues, that we'll see that next year much more heavily than we have this year. And the same can be said for any effect of the Harmony Foundation, BHS situation, and how that will affect donations to the district is unclear at this point. So as you can see, the expenses have been very low. There's some at the bottom there, the marketing expenses, that's for maintaining the website and some of the other things that allow us to communicate with the district on a regular basis. And so anyway, that's about it on the P&L. It's been very light activity. If you want to go to the balance sheet, the benefit of not having the conventions this year, which in the past couple of years have actually operated as an expense rather than as an income, we've actually improved our balance sheet over the course of the last year. Our net income at this point is about $14,000. I do need to point out that this is the district as a whole, so it includes all of the funds that are not necessarily available for operating expense directly. The operating portion of that net income at this point, I'm estimating, will be about $5,000 at the end of the year. And what we're going to do with those funds is to restore some of the funds to the amount that they're supposed to be, that we've borrowed from over the last couple of years, and to set aside some things for our programs next year, when I'm hoping, as we all are, I suspect, that we can get back to more of a normal operation. The one thing I will point out is if you look at the bottom, you'll see unrestricted assets of minus 25,000 and net income of 14,000. Just to explain what that is, the QuickBooks, which I implemented when I took over in 2012 and recorded or entered the activity from 2010 on. So end of 2009 is the baseline. That 25,000 represents the cumulative loss over the 8 years or over the 10 years since 2009. And then the 14,000 is the current year income. So essentially over that 10-year period, we're sitting at about $10,000 deficit, which given all of the things that have occurred in that period of time is not too bad. So I will stop there and entertain any questions.
I have one, John.
Yes.
You mentioned that the income that we received from Harmony Foundation through their donor choice program was not reflected in this statement. Is that right?
The Harmony Foundation, no, because the check just arrived a couple of days ago.
That's what I wanted to be sure you got it. Okay, because I knew it was coming. I wasn't sure. I think I told you it was coming. So, okay, good.
Yeah, well, we did receive that. And just so that people know, we've also received 2 monthly checks from the new BHS donor choice or whatever they're calling it. So we have started to get that. And Harmony Foundation had always done twice a year. And it appears that BHS is doing it on a monthly basis.
John, back to the other sheet, the reserve fund, I see a figure of 103,000. I thought we capped that at 100,000.
The requirement is 100,000. If we can go down to 75 based on board vote, but then there's a requirement that we budget to replace $4,000 a year to get it back up to the 100. The reason that it's over 100 now is because we had some monies that were supposed to be spent this year that we did not spend and we're not able to, but they're restricted, and I've put those in the district reserve fund.
That Lake George?
Some of that's Lake George, yes, and some of it is monies that we deposited in an account in St. John in order to fund convention activities over there that needed to be done in Canadian dollar. And so we've since we're planning to go back there again next year, we've left that money over there, and I put it into the to the reserve at this point. So actually, if I take out that money, we're actually at about 95,000, but I intend to get it back up to the 100, excluding those extra things. So it'll probably be about 108 to 110 at the end of the year. Does that answer your question, Mike?
Yep, thank you.
Hey, John, it's Alan. On the P&L statement, if you could go back, is the 500.120, that minus 475, is that a credit against the previous expense? So have we been reimbursed for that travel payment for Alex?
Yes and no.
Okay.
But quickly, for those, just so others know what we're talking about, we had somebody from Australia who was going to be a judge, and we sent him through PayPal $475 for airfare and other things. It turns out that when I did that, I incorrectly got the email address and paid a different Alex Morris. So last year, there were actually 2 $475 charges included in our expenses. I contacted the individual who I inadvertently paid, and he reimbursed it in January. So that's what that 475 is. If in fact we get repaid by Alex, that will add another minus 475 to the P&L.
Okay, and we, just so you know, John, we will, and it'll come from BHS.
Okay.
Any other questions of John? Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Mr. President, I'd move to receive the treasurer's report.
We have a second?
You have to unmute to second.
All I know
Please
is
say your
second.
chapter name. Yeah.
Second.
I second.
Any other discussion? Dan is ready. All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Sounds pretty good. Any opposed?
We
Right.
sound about as coordinated as the U.S. Congress. That's perfect.
Oh, let me, let's, okay, so the minutes, the treasurer's report has been received. And before we move on to the next item of business, I noticed that Murray Phillips is on the call, another past president in the Northeastern District. Welcome, Murray.
I apologize for being late. I was thinking of wrong time zones, different. Anyway, my excuse is I'm here.
Oh, we're glad you're here, Murray.
Thank you.
Great.
And the traffic.
All righty.
Lots of traffic.
Next up on the agenda is a report from our society president-elect, Mr. John Downhauer. So, John, the floor is all yours.
Well, I think you're being a little generous when you say report, but I appreciate that, Ed. I would mention that to what Murray had just mentioned, there is a time zone difference here. I'm calling in right now from, I live in Wisconsin, but I'm calling from Iowa. So as you know, the time zone's a little different here. It's 1987. If you watch the news at all, you'll find that hilarious. If not, maybe not so much. So anyway, my name is John Downhauer. I was recently elected. I'm going to be the president of the society starting in January. And most of you probably wouldn't know this, but I'm currently the acting president of the society as well. Our current society president, Dick Powell, has had back surgery earlier this year and has had some health issues. And to concentrate on his recovery and getting better, Dick has stepped down as president of the society just a few months early. And I stepped up, but Dick promised me that he would stay here and whisper in my ear as to the stuff I was supposed to do, so I don't mess anything up. But for those of you that know Dick, he is doing better and better all the time. It's just a matter of getting enough sleep and taking care of himself. And he didn't feel that he could do both that and take care of the society. So if you know Dick at all, he's either all in or he's no other way. So anyway, as I mentioned, I'm from Wisconsin originally. I sometimes live in Wisconsin. I sometimes live in Illinois. I sometimes live in Iowa. It's confusing. I am a 35-year member of the Barbershop Harmony Society. And there's really not a lot to know about me. I had to shudder. It's been a few years since I've been in a meeting with Alan Lamson. And my PTSD is kind of sinking in right now. When I hear him make a motion, I honestly, I shake and quake with fear. So I'm not going to actually take a lot of time today, but I did want to mention a few things to you. Obviously, we're living in a weird time. We're an organization of singers that can't sing right now. To all of you who are out there, I appreciate the districts that are trying to keep in touch with people and all the chapter leaders are here. We can't meet in person. And I just hope that each of you is doing your best and making calls and reaching out to our members A lot of folks don't use Zoom, so we might not see them there. So I hope that you're each taking it upon yourselves to take care of our brothers and sisters in the Barbershop Harmony Society and just checking in and making sure everyone's okay. I am one of those people, and I probably owe this board of directors an apology, as I've been giving all the other districts leaderships apologies. I am one of those guys that's been a barbershopper forever and was asked probably 15 straight years to serve on my district board, which was the Central States District. I always sang in quartets, I directed choruses. I never sat down when they pulled out a chair. I always let someone else do the work. Somehow I magically thought that conventions just happened. I didn't understand, or I was just too selfish to understand the amount of work that was going into all of the activities. I was living in my own little happy barbershop bubble. And as we get older, obviously we get smarter and more aware. And it wasn't until my, just probably 5 or 10 years ago, after being prodded by people like Alan Lamson and Roger Lewis and Bill Biffle, that I needed to pay back all the society has given me. I apologize on behalf of all the barbershoppers out there that haven't helped out at the district level. I appreciate and I understand what you guys do. And you mean the world to me, and I'm so sorry that I didn't help when I had the chance. And I hope that the next few years working with the society, we can work together really well, and maybe I can make up for some of that help that I wasn't giving you before. But just know, even if your members aren't telling you frequently, you truly are appreciated. And a lot of times I think the testament of how good a leadership you are is I went all those years as a member not realizing how much work was going on because the district leadership was so good at it. But you still need to take your bow and you still need to take the praise, so thank you. The other thing I wanted to mention is because of the COVID, there's been a lot of questions about what is International doing to make sure that we get out on the other side of this well. Well, as you can guess, the bad news is this. We've had about 14% loss in membership renewals nationwide. In our forecast, we thought it would be about 15. Obviously, there are a lot of people that are, they sing, and if they're not going to sing, budgets are tight. A lot of people have lost their jobs. There's a million reasons for it. And a lot of people, there's money spent better elsewhere right now. And so quite a few people have dropped their memberships in the society. We will be looking at making sure it's very easy for them to come back when this is all over. And I think they're probably going to waive all the fees and do what is necessary to do. But so just so you're aware, we are watching this. We are aware of it. We talk all the time. In regards to the budget, there's been a lot of rumors circulating on social media about the financial status of the Barbershop Harmony Society. And there are some folks that would like to see changes made. Some folks would like to turn the clock back to 1960 or 1978 or even 1995 or 2005. Change doesn't come easy to the Barbershop Harmony Society. And decisions were made a few years ago on a path that we're taking now. And over the last few years, we have actually invested money in the future of the society, and that has necessitated some negative budgets in the past few years. They were planned budgets. You probably shouldn't read what you read on social media. The bottom has not fallen out. There is no danger of the Barbershop Harmony Society going under in the next few years. We're just fine. In fact, if you read our pivot report, you'll see that one of the things the society did proactively was we've cut all travel, we've cut unnecessary expenses, we've pared down programming as much as we can. The entire staff has taken significant pay cuts. We would rather keep our staff intact so that when we come on the other side, they are ready to get going again, but significant cuts in pay. Voluntarily, This was, some folks might not be happy about it, but they all did it because they see the importance of watching the funds until we get back at the end of this. So keep in mind, the situation changes all the time. I think there was about $4 million-ish left on the table because we didn't have conventions this year. We know what the impact it probably had on Northeast District. It's got to be huge. The thing is that when you see these numbers of the loss, you need to also keep in mind the fact that there's also not the associated cash outlay. So whereas you would think that, oh, they lost this many millions of dollars because the money's not coming in for conventions, keep in mind that millions of dollars weren't also going out because of the conventions as well. A significant amount of the money that comes in for Harmony College, for instance, goes to Belmont and getting our teachers there. So whereas we did lose funding because Harmony College didn't exist, we also saved money because Harmony College didn't exist. But our pledge to you is this: we are looking at this every single day. We are, if we have to cut further, we're going to cut further. We are watching every dime. And we will always do what's right to protect the society and to protect all of you and the investment that you've made in our organization over the years. Anyone that, if you want to talk about this stuff, reach out. We will let you know. In fact, I would just make the offer right now that if the district board or anyone wants to have a more detailed discussion on anything, just let me know and we'll set it up. If you want finance people to come in and talk, we'd be happy to come in and talk. It's just as easy as that. If you want to have just a meet and greet and you want to just chat more and give us an idea of what's going on for you, I'd love to do that too. It's funny, I did one of those Facebook quizzes the other day of how many states have you gone to? And I've only not been to, I think, about 5 states. And it's basically your entire district I haven't been to. I've been to Alaska, but I've never been to Vermont. I've never been to Connecticut. I've never been to Maine. I've known Alan Lamson for all these years and he's never invited me to visit, ever. I don't know, read into that what you will. But one of the things I'd love to do in the next few years is I'd love to visit. As soon as we have conventions, I'll do it on my own dime, but I am going to get out there and I want to see each of you. One of the things that we need to really think about going forward is we tend to have silos. Our districts talk to, and as Murray points out, Canada. I have been to Canada, but I live in Wisconsin, which is basically Canada for the most part. So I'm gonna say that that's okay. That's a wash. I just got an invitation from Alan to visit. This is awesome. I can't wait to tell my wife. And you're all my witnesses.
Don't do it. It's Connecticut. It's not that interesting.
I'm bringing him to Vermont.
So one of the things I wanted to mention is the way the world works now is, I'm not going to talk politics or anything in that, but we have a tendency of staying in our own bubbles. Your district, I'm sure your district board talks. Steve Wheaton's on the call. Hey, buddy, I haven't seen you in ages. The district talks to the district. The international board just talks to the international board. The staff only talks to the staff. Harmony Foundation only talks to Harmony Foundation. One of the things we have to start doing is we have to pop the bubbles. We have to be better about, Ed should always feel free to get on the phone and call. I should always be able to reach out to folks in your district. We need to be able to break this down. We need to get to know each other again. The foundation of trust in going forward is basically knowing each other. And I think that the society made a huge mistake a few years ago when we stopped sending representatives from the board to the districts. It was a huge mistake. We can't be a team to have that kind of separation. And going forward, we need to be a team. So whatever we can do to pop our own bubbles and get to know each other again, let's do it. And if there's a bad thing if there's a good thing, I'm sorry, about COVID in particular, is we have time. We're not spending our time singing, so let's spend our time talking. Let's getting to know each other a little bit. I'm going to leave it at that for today. I would ask you if you have questions or burning things that you want to talk about with myself or any member of the society. I'd ask that you send a note to Ed. I don't mean to give Ed extra work, but if Ed could compile a list of people that are interested in a chat, if there's enough people that want to do it, we'll do it. If there's just random questions, we'll answer the questions as we go. But if you want to get together again, let's do it. You know, it's just not that far from Wisconsin to your part of the world. I don't understand your part of the world. Some of your accents are hilarious to me, I might add, because as you know, I have no accent. So y'all are just gonna, you know, have to, yeah, I know I have an accent. I'm gonna let you get back to your meeting. I'm gonna stick around because I really want to see what's going on in your world. But as I said, my contact information is in the back of the harmonizer. And if you would like to have more conversations or talks, please reach out to Ed, and Ed and I will be in over the next, actually, Ed, are you on for another year, or are you done after this year? So who is?
No, we've given Ed plenty of time to try to straighten things out. The pandemic is his fault. The convention cancellations are his fault. But you're in a lot of trouble, John. You mentioned Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, you know, but you didn't say anything about Rhode Island. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a park near my house that's bigger than Rhode Island. So, and actually, this is really cool for me too, because
when you come next time, you can stay in Rhode Island. We got the world's best restaurants here, and even Alan knows that.
It's really cool for me because anybody from Barbershop knows the name Mark Mano, and the only place I know him from is watching him on like the webcast and stuff. So it's actually like I'm kind of talking to TV right now. So this will be fun. So come on, Mike, make me laugh.
Well, if you want to really laugh, I'm going to be taking Ed's place. So there you go. So
wow. Okay, so you're the EVP?
I am for 3 years. For 3 years.
And so I'm guessing that this can't be your first time around the track, is it?
Well, no, I've been on the district board before.
But not president before?
Not president before, no.
Well, cool. Well, I'm glad that after all of these years of being a B-list celebrity, you get to move into the A-list. Well, gentlemen, and ladies, it's been wonderful to actually meet you. I am going to stick around. And as I said, I'm just going to circle back just a little bit. Please get on the phone and reach out to the barbershoppers that you don't see on Zoom meetings. Find out how they are. Tell them somebody's thinking about them. Keep that connection. I think everybody here would agree. It's just not only about the chords, right? It's not only about the singing. It's about the people. And so let's take care of each other, be safe, and thank you for your invite today.
Thank you very much, John. And again, I'll just reiterate to the delegates here, and you can spread this amongst the members of your chapter and your chapter boards and anything. If you have any questions that you'd like me to direct to John, I'd be more than happy to put them all together. And everybody should have my email address. It's easy to find. So please do that. And John, welcome and thank you very much. I look forward to your reign as president coming up. Well, it's already started in some ways. Okay, so thanks again. Let's move on. At this point, we have our consent calendar. All of the reports have been submitted. I am hoping that everybody, all the delegates have had a chance to read them. So I will ask the delegates, are there any questions or any reports that you want pulled right now? Otherwise, we will just approve all the reports at once. and we can move on. Is there any questions or any of the reports that need to be pulled? Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion to accept the consent calendar as submitted.
So moved, Murray Phillips.
Thank you, Murray.
Seconded, Steve Wheaton.
Second by Steve Wheaton. Any other discussion? Hearing nothing. All in favor? All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen, and I want to thank the board officers for getting all their reports in a timely manner so we can get that out. Thank you very much. Move on.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh. Our next item is the district budget for 2021.
Okay, there is not a whole lot to report in that a budget has not yet been constructed, but we are in the process of figuring out what we need to do. As we are currently putting plans in place to hold 2 spring contests and a district contest next year, we will put together a budget that assumes we're going to be able to do that. And just as this year, we're going to be ready to be responsive and flexible and make adjustments as necessary. We also are going ahead right now with the planning of the events in August at HC&E, Harmony College Northeast, and HX Camp. And so those will be budgeted for as well. The budget is, as I said, each individual officer is looking at their areas now, and we will submit budgets and we'll compile it. And the board is planning to have a meeting at the end of November, beginning of December, where we will finalize that budget. So that's really all I have to report at this point regarding the budget. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to entertain them.
Thank you, John. I don't hear any questions.
I have one question. I just was curious how the board adopts the budget. Is it by vote of the board then, since this meeting will have passed once you actually craft the budget?
Yes, the budget is approved by the board and presented to the HOD, as opposed to being requiring a vote of the HOD.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions of John? If not, we'll move on to some other quick updates. Bob Bradley, would you like to give us a quick update on the fall and spring conventions for 2021? What are the current plans and how do we stand on that?
The spring conventions are, at this point, we are planning to go ahead. We will know probably in January whether we can actually do them or not. That gives us enough time to get out of any contracts we have, as we did in 2020. We had a great spring and fall season plan. We had 3 areas that were basically the vacation spots at Cape Cod, Lake George, and in St. John up in Canada. The St. John looks like hopefully we will be able to get there in October. We will have the same program that we had planned for now, basically. And we will have that again with the, there's been some questions about the New Brunswick Orchestra because obviously they've been shut down for a while. And so far, everything is planned to go in April, May, and October. And again, as I said before, we will know in January, we'll get a drop dead date as to whether the spring contest will go on or not. We certainly don't want to affect anyone's health. At this particular point, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but I couldn't even get to Mike Mano's house because his state is on the do not travel list for New Yorkers. So I have no idea what it's going to be like in April or what it's going to be like in 2021. We're following this very closely, and as soon as we can get some answers, everyone will know.
And stay out, Bob.
I was planning on coming up in December. I don't know what's going to happen in December.
Well, the way things are going, we'll all be the same.
Yes, yes.
Does anyone
That's where we are.
Does anyone have any questions of Bob before we move on? I know it's very difficult to plan these things at this time. We just got to hope for the best, and we'll see what happens. We're planning as if things are going to go next year. We'll make decisions later. Okay, Scott.
Ed,
Yeah.
if I could, before we get off, just so everybody knows, if anybody has any questions about what this impact would be, if you've got any quartets in your choruses that might be wanting to compete this spring to qualify for international in Cleveland, or if you've got a chorus that would even like to consider going to the Cleveland Convention to sing and be scored, please read my report. There's a very big section about what the impact is and what the criteria will be for all of our choruses and quartets. So that's just in case. Actually, it will apply to choruses regardless of what happens this spring. It might change regarding the quartets if we are actually able to hold spring conventions. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, Scott, would like to hear what your plans are, or how are things working for our Harmony College HX camp next summer?
Yeah, so the HX camp is moving along with plans. The faculty has been selected, and we're working on finalizing the contracting for it. Our new camp director is Andrea Bossi, and she's got some exciting plans. She's been putting things together. We have a full staff meeting coming up in November, in the beginning of November, in which case we'll be having everyone together to do the micro logistics work. Also, we've had a few Zoom leadership meetings in finalizing the more macro stuff. In addition, just in case, we're looking into the possibility of a virtual contingency, just in case, so that we are looking forward in case things don't work as we plan. So that's pretty much what's going on. And any questions, I'd be glad to answer them at any time.
Thank you, Scott. Brandon, I know I'll probably put you on the spot here, but you're going to be coming onto the board next year as Vice President of Music and Performance. You probably have not had a lot of chance to think about our Harmony College Northeast and what that might entail next year, but that is something that's under your jurisdiction for next year. And so I don't really expect a report. I just thought I'd give you a chance to say something if you'd like.
Just that I'm happy to be in the position. And moving forward, I have a couple documents now in progress with ideas. I especially want to have a focus next year on virtual presence. So having a lot of material that's free and accessible for our members in the district. And all of this material being accessible on both sides of the border. So Canada and the States having a big presence in both sections of our division. And besides that, if anybody has any ideas, feel free to message me or give me a call or anytime. I'm available, and I'm happy to hear everybody's opinions.
Great. Thanks, Brandon. Looking forward to it. David Patterson had a last-minute conflict and could not attend the HOD meeting. But let me just say that the Leadership Academy has been an outstanding program this fall. I don't know how many of the delegates or chapter members in your chapters have actually attended. We've had a huge participation, probably much better than we normally get at our in-person Leadership Academy. Number of interesting classes. I participated in a number of them. The first phase of Leadership Academy is over right now. Those were courses directed towards leadership practices and leadership principles that were put together by the LOPT. And now starting next weekend or so, very, very soon, is going to be officer and board member specific training for the next few weeks, where your chapter officers, president, secretary, treasurer, etc., can receive personalized training to do their jobs for next year. David's done an outstanding job in organizing this and putting this off. So if you get a chance, make sure you thank him for this. And I encourage all of the chapters out there to make sure that their officers attend their specific training that they'll require to do their jobs for 2021. As far as I know, we are the only district that has done this so far. And so we've sort of set the standard, and we set the bar pretty high for the rest of the districts. And something that we should be proud of, especially David. And I know we've been gotten inquiries from other districts on how things went and how we did it. And I expect, and I know David is very excited about the possibility of probably doing this Leadership Academy probably every year in an online virtual kind of format. It would save a lot of money to the district, and it'd be very convenient for chapter members and officers at the chapter level and stuff. So it sounds like it could be something we could do on a yearly basis. Okay.
Ed, just so everybody, so there's no confusion, the first class is this coming Sunday, 2 days from now, and it's for the presidents. So if any of your chapters, check with your chapters. If the presidents haven't signed up, they can do that tomorrow. It's not a problem. They can do it Sunday. It's not a problem. And then it's followed the following weekend by secretaries and the following weekend by treasurers. So talk to those 3 guys if they haven't signed up in your chapter.
Who's teaching the president's class, Alan?
They brought in some slug from somewhere.
Okay.
He's a
May I
member
ask,
of the Hall
may I
of
ask a
Fame.
question?
Yes.
So is the president's the session, I'm looking at the schedule right now for the NED convention. Is that President's Leadership Academy session on that schedule, or does it conflict with that schedule?
It's a separate schedule, and it starts like, what, 45 minutes after the convention is over on Sunday.
Okay.
The president's class starts at 7 o'clock on Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions? Okay, we have one big item of new business, and that is the election of our Board of Directors for 2021. So I think, Glenn, do you have the list there?
I don't have it handy. Let me see.
Did that come from nominating committee yet?
Yes. I thought I saw it go to Glenn. I might be able to pull it up.
Well, Paul's online.
Certainly am, but I don't have it in front of me. I was assuming it would be.
I do have it. Yeah, here. Yep, I got it right here. Hang on. I didn't have it earlier. It's actually, I'll add it to the consent to the plugin report. Can everyone see it?
Kind of small.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can fix that.
I can see it now.
Mhm.
Ed, could we take a minute to just highlight the guys? Myself, obviously, most people online would know, but as we go down the list, they just say hello and say who they are and their office. Mike Savard, starting with you.
Everybody, Mike Savard, currently VP membership in Providence, 9-year barbershopper between MAD, Illinois District, and the last few years here in NED, and very excited about the opportunity.
Thank you, Mike. Continuing on as secretary is Glenn McElhoe.
Hello. Yeah.
Continuing on as treasurer, John Englander.
Yeah, you've heard from me before, but I'm from Nashua. I've been on treasurer now for 8 years, I guess it is. Previously been chapter treasurer, president, and currently 8-year immediate past president for Nashua.
Our vice president of chapter support and leadership. Continuing on in his role would be David Patterson. He is not here this evening. Our vice president of course director of development, Dan Falcone. Dan was online.
I am online, yeah.
And probably the driving force behind the Northeastern District's virtual fall convention. So thank you, Dan. Any questions? Oh, everybody say hi to Dan.
Hi.
Continuing on as the vice president of contests and judging, Alan Lamson.
Yeah, this will be my 4th year, and if it's like last year was, it was real easy. When there's no contest, there's nothing to do.
You've only been a barbershopper for 4 years?
That's it.
That's right.
By the way, Alan, you did nothing very well.
Yeah.
Alan, when did you move to New Hampshire?
I'm sorry?
When did you move to New Hampshire?
Oh, I better go check my yard. That's interesting. That's where I was born, so maybe it's time. You know, I'm retrograding.
Vice President of Marketing, Events, Bob Bradley.
Yes, I've been on the board for quite a while. I was the VP of Chapter Support and Leadership before this, the manager of the Yankee Division, and I've had this events job. I started with Joe Millette, and it's been quite a while now. I plan to continue on for a while, and hopefully we'll have conventions again someday.
Our Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations, Steve Salomon.
Guys, yeah, so I'm just quickly looking here. This will be, I think, my 8th or 9th year as marketing VP, but I've been on the board for like 11 years because I filled a few roles before that. But happy to be doing this, keeping people and keeping things alive.
Thanks, Steve. Our new candidate for Vice President of Music and Performance, you met him earlier this evening, Brandon Mullen. Brandon?
Hello, I'm from Canada, yeah, so up here in the north, I'm the current president of the Anchorman Barbershop Corps in St. John's, Newfoundland, and the vice president of music and performance of the Chordsmen in Cape Breton Island. So I'm currently between two of you. I'm Skyping my way into the future between the two choruses, but happy to be stepping away from that and moving towards the district role. So again, hello from the north.
Thank you, Brandon. Our new Vice President of Membership and Outreach, Diane Tortorelli Brooks.
I think most of you know me by now. It'll be my first year on the board. I'm really looking forward to it. But you've seen me around either reviewing your shows or part of the events team, carrying awards and plaques, or being the Mountain Division manager. So I'm truly involved in the district. I'm all about members. And I really look forward to getting totally involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. I think I got Youth and Harmony, our Vice President of Youth and Harmony, continuing on, Scott Damaratius.
Hi, so this is my second year, or going into my second year in this position. I'm currently the Community and Youth Events VP for Vocal Revolution as well. I guess my biggest thing is if anyone would like some help on how they can work some youth programs into their chapter, please contact me. I'll be glad to work with you, help with suggestions, and help in any way I can. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. And finally, the immediate past president is a position that's not elected, it's just appointed. And I will continue on in that role next year and looking forward to it. So
Ed, do you want me to give a resume of my barbershop background?
No.
we don't have that much time, Mike.
Please. Ed, if I might just add a comment on behalf of the nominating committee. We're thrilled with what came together and the board that was presented, and it looks like a great future for the NED, and I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you and the rest of the committee for putting this together. And thank you for everyone who's agreed to serve. I think this is an outstanding board. All the positions are filled at this time. Not only that, but all our division managers' positions are filled. I think we're in a very strong position from a leadership standpoint in NED, and I'm really excited about the possibilities of 2021. Now, the only thing we need to do is cure this COVID thing, and I think we're in for a great run the next couple of years. So I will accept or entertain a motion to accept the slate of officers as presented.
So moved.
So moved. Who first was it, Murray?
Tom O'Brien.
Tom O'Brien moves. We have a second.
Robert Gollenbach.
Robert Gollenbach from Danbury, right?
Right.
Great. Second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor of the slate of officers as presented for 2021, please signify by
Aye.
Sounds great. How about any objections? Hearing none, the slate of officers has been approved for the Northeastern District for 2021. Thank you, everybody. That is
Ed, before we go on, can we just recognize the two people who are stepping off the board for what they've done in the past year?
yes, I'm sorry, I should have done that myself. Stepping off the board first after many years is Sebi Massa, Vice President of Membership and Outreach. Our immediate past president, who was sort of corralled into this role a couple years ago, Paul Arnone. And let's see, am I missing somebody?
Alan Breon.
Alan Breon, who's not on. Ed, you're on mute for some reason.
Yeah, Alan Breon is our Vice President. Music and performance.
Right.
So the board thanks them for their service and wishes them well in the future. Thank
It
you.
worked out well. We had to get rid of Alan as a Canadian, but then we got Brandon in to take his place, so it's still stuck with a Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
concludes.
you have the privilege of having a Canadian. You need some talent down there.
Yes. So that concludes the formal part of the meeting. Does anybody have anything that they would like to say or address the delegates for the good of the district? I have one thing, but I'll wait till the very end.
I'd just like to encourage everybody who's on this call to register for the convention so we can get you the links to all of the events. And thank you for spreading the word and attending and supporting our presenters and celebrating our awesome district.
And I have a question. When you like I registered several weeks ago, did the link come out several weeks ago, or
You
how
should
does
have
that
been
work?
you should have been sent a program with the email, with an email. That all the links are the blue titles.
Mike, it came out in an email about 9 o'clock last Sunday night.
Yep.
Okay.
Steve has put the calendar up on the district website too, which is great. Yeah, it's a great reference.
Yep. I'm looking forward to the premiere of the virtual choir. And the rehearsals this week have been fantastic. We have a rehearsal tonight, and hopefully everybody will get the recordings in, and we'll next Sunday night or next Saturday evening, not tomorrow, but next Saturday, we'll conclude the convention with the premiere of the Northeastern District Virtual Choir singing. It's the music that brings us together. It's the music that brings us together. That's going to be a highlight of the convention, one of the highlights. So I'm looking forward to all the activities. And again, Dan's done an outstanding job here. Thank you very much, Dan. And essentially this HOD meeting basically kicks off the convention. This is probably the first, official event of the weekend. So that's great. Anybody else have anything for the good of the district?
I would like to thank Steve Salomon for all the input that he does, putting stuff out on Facebook, because there's a lot of barber shoppers are out there clued into that, and that keeps us in touch too.
Here, here.
Thank you, Dick.
He does a fine job there.
Ed?
Yes, Alan?
Yeah, I'd like to and you may do it too, but I'd like to thank John Donhauer for being with us. I just want to tell everybody that the John Donhauer you heard is the John Donhauer that it really exists. It's just the way he is, down on the ground with the rest of us, straightforward. Everything he said is absolutely true of him. I've known him for about a little over a decade, and it's just the way he is. You will love having him be your society president.
Totally agree.
Anybody else? Okay, with that, I just have one thing I'd like to close off this portion of the meeting with. As everybody knows, this will be the last HOD meeting that I will chair as president of the district. I'm stepping down at the end of the year, and Mike Mano will be taking my place. So I just want to thank all the board members who have served with me during the last 3 years. There's a lot of things, a lot of good stuff that happened in our district, and it made my job very, very easy, realizing we had such good workers on your board. And I think, I certainly could not have done the things we wanted to do and needed to do for our district without the hard work and dedication of all the members of the Northeastern District Board for the last 3 years. I think that we're in good shape. Hopefully, I left the district in at least as good a shape as it was when I took over. It's been 3 years, very difficult 3 years, especially this last year. And I'd be a little bit remiss if I didn't thank Mike for all the support that he gave me, especially during my first year when I had some health issues. So thank you, Mike, and thank you for the rest of the board for all their work. I look forward to serving as your immediate past president, and certainly will be available for any tasks or any assignments that Mike will throw my way. So again, thank you very much. And it's been a privilege and an honor to serve the Northeastern District. So I just wanted the delegates to know that. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if there's no other business or no other.
I move we adjourn.
Walt Lane moves to adjourn. We'll take a second.
Second.
Thanks, Dick. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any objections? I don't think anybody's going to object to that. And do we have queued up Keep the Whole World Singing, Glenn?
Oh, I know, I do not. We just have, we can always do it the way we do it in chorus, which is you just unmute everybody and go for it. But you need a director.
All right. Can you put Dan Falcone up on the screen?
Yes, I could do exactly that. Let me find him in.
Put him on the spot.
Where's Dan? There he is.
Keep.
Here's for nothing. Keep the whole world singing all day long. Watch the bird come a-winging on a song. Smile while you are singing, oh, carry, carry, carry your part. Keep the melody ringing and ringing in your heart.
There we are, John Donauer, just for you. Singing in Zoom.
No wonder we're not rehearsing in Zoom.
I never heard anything like that before.
Yes, I was, yeah, train wreck, train wreck.
Okay.
One thing is terrible.
Good evening, guys.
Thank you,
Hi,
gentlemen.
Robert.
Thank you, Ed.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend and all the activities. I'll hang around.
Hey, Bob Bradley.
If anybody has any questions, I'll be around.